part of the reason that public schools, I think, have historically been this great ladder into the middle class and beyond, particularly in New York City, is it creates this great atmosphere of different types of people bouncing off each other like molecules in a microwave, and everything is, everyone winds up doing better. But frankly, that statistic you read is just another way of framing the statistic we talked about earlier, that there's enormous amount of social inequality and economic inequality in our system, in our city, and it manifests itself with one fundamental fact, that parents that have some level of economic mobility move their children to better educational opportunities, and you create a de facto ghettoization of everyone else. Now, there's two ways to deal with that, but the obvious way is, rather than browbeat those parents who are using their resources to get a better opportunity, is we need to figure out a way to elevate all of the schools and say, look, I'm going through this now. Like I said, I have a 19-month-old at home. My wife and I are contemplating what we're going to do next. Obviously, my strong bias is to send them to public schools. I mean, I don't know what the public schools are like Gracie Mansion. I'm going to have to find out. But I mean, but it should not be a circumstance where parents are looking at their neighborhood school and figuring out, I have to either flee this school somehow, or I am going to relegate my son or daughter to a second tier status. We've got to change that script. We have to, and this is a little bit what my concern is about the novelty of the charter schools, is it ignores the idea we have an enormous amount of work to do in the traditional public school. We really have three school systems. We have one that has that kind of Gold Coast feel. The best teachers want to go there, the most active parents, they get the resources year by year. The second tier, that if you give them a little push, they can make it into that top tier. And then I'm going to say 60% of the schools that represent the rest, which have really daunting challenges. We have to create a dynamic where economic mobility doesn't mean people are trying to get out of those schools, and that means trying to come up with programs that incentivize middle-class, somewhat mobile parents to stay.